Wayne, we get calls all the time for, hey, find me a house, okay? And we say, what's the first question we ask?
Budget.
What do you want to spend?
Right.
Okay? And everybody, especially first-time home buyers, they're always coming in around, they're saying, hey, I want to spend $250,000 to $350,000, which is difficult. So what we decided to do is make videos for what you get for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. You can check those videos out below. I'll put some links. But here's the situation. A lot of people are telling me in the comments and saying, well, you know what? A $300,000 house where you are, I can't find it where I am, okay? And I really want to explain this before we tell you about what you get for $300,000, okay?
Makes sense, yep.
So we're in a town called Holiday. All right, but if you go just a few miles down the road where I live, okay, it's Trinity. It's just the prices jump dramatically. Significantly.
Almost double, yeah.
Okay?
Double and beyond.
So there's a Holiday pretty much everywhere. Like somebody from Wesley Chapel said, hey, I want to buy a house in Wesley Chapel. And I want to spend like $300,000. And I said to them, well, you could go to Zephyr Hills, which is 5 minutes up the road,
right,
and we can find a house for $300,000.
Right, feasible.
So that's why it pays to show you what you get for $300,000. We're going to go over what it would take for you to get into this house over here, and I'm sure there's an area where you live mostly, unless you live in like Miami or San Diego or something like that. You know what I mean? That there's a Holiday and there's a price point for $300,000. So that's what we're going to get into. Not only are we going to look at the house, we're going to do a house tour. This house actually has a little bit of a surprise, it surprised me.
I know. This is a big one because you don't ordinarily get that at this price point. A lot of people have the wish list, and right away as a realtor, you're looking at it and saying, yeah, I don't have a time machine and I can't take you back when that price point would have worked for that, all those things that you want. So we have to compromise and set expectations is how we say it. But this has got a bonus, which I'm pleasantly surprised.
It does. I actually had a client that, wanted me to show them a house in this price range, but they wanted me to show them. And before, like people said, oh, you showed a house? You're a home inspector. I am a home inspector, but I also have my real estate license, okay? I just don't talk about it. I do have a real estate license, but it's a unique situation that I could actually refer people to people like Wayne or Bill or whoever I'm doing the videos with that know an area. Because what I'm finding about with real estate agents is, like I just did one on the canals, not far from here, Gulf Harbors, and that real estate agent, I did the inspection, but that person was from near Orlando.
Right.
This people buying this house are boaters. And when I was there doing the inspection, they were asking the real estate agent, what about this? How much draft could my boat fit in here? How deep do these canals go? And this real estate agent, I don't blame this. I don't blame her. She she's not from that area.
Right. Totally different waters, by the way. So
totally different waters. Yeah. So, but since I'm a boater and I know those waters inside out,
you can answer them.
I answer them even though I was just doing the home inspections,
Right.
But that's what I mean. Like if you guys call us and say, hey, I'm looking for this price point house, and you're looking at a certain area and Wayne doesn't know that area, he's not getting the referral. Or Bill, because he's on channel a lot, like he knows Wesley Chapel, but he doesn't know the Orlando area. So that's why we built a really big network. So with that said, if you need help, with finding a good real estate agent or even using me, Wayne, Bill, anybody, the phone number's below. But Wayne, before we get started on this house, maybe we need to really talk about the neighborhood. Why don't we walk a little bit and show people what kind of neighborhood it is compared to the $400,000 and $500,000 house.
Sure.
All right? But stay till the end, because if you're really shopping for a house, you have to really understand what a $100,000 difference really gets you.
But I want to say, because we've done these videos quite a bit, there are a lot of people that said, I can't get anything for $300,000. You're going to be surprised. And
we got a huge surprise. We're going to be doing another video, so definitely subscribe, that it's going to be for another $300,000 house, comparing it to this $300,000 house, and you're going to be really interested in that one.
Yep.
So Wayne, let's just walk a little bit and talk about this neighborhood real quick.
Sure thing.
All right, Wayne, let's talk about this real quick. So basically, in the neighborhood, these neighborhoods are definitely older,
Right.
okay?
Yep. 40.
60s.
Yep. Yeah,
The
40
60s.
plus homes. 40 years and more.
Right.
Yeah.
So 60s, 70s, 80s.
Right. And they aren't two-story homes. So this was at a time when it's a lower budget. So these homes back in the day were probably 35 grand.
Yeah, well, not that long ago, 15, 20 years ago, these homes they're selling for 75 grand.
Right. So
Yeah.
if you look up and down the street, you'll see how they're spaced out.
Yeah, you see how close they are together with each other?
Right.
Because a lot of them were just summer homes, second homes for people.
Correct.
And
So they'd come down here and vacation and then go back, and then at one point in time, they turned into a lot of rentals.
but what's good about these homes, even back then, they knew to build them with blocks. So a lot of these homes are
Correct.
block. But here's the problem I find in a lot of these homes is I find electrical panels are outdated, so you need to update the electrical panels. The roofs, most of them have been replaced already, but lower ceilings.
Lower ceilings, not a lot of good ventilation, I think, which we're closer to the water, so that's really not ideal for mold buildup and stuff like that. So as you look from left to right, you'll see how these homes get elevated.
Yeah.
So these homes are lower here, and then if you look to the right, they're actually elevated and
A
going
little bit up on the hill, so
Yep.
they took flooding into
They
consideration.
did, right.
So, but the whole
The
thing
water
is,
would run off and run down the road.
but the square footage is, pretty smaller till today's.
Yeah, you're smaller lots, and you're dealing with, I guess, smaller property lines too. You know, you want to. Was all about volume, getting the most homes in an area, which
But they don't have HOAs.
they don't have HOAs.
Okay, to me it's a benefit. To some people it's.
But what
it's a
they
neg-
do have is flood insurance. So that is the trade-off.
But
Not crazy with the how much trees are over the properties. It's here and there, but not crazy.
but who? Okay, so who's the perfect person for a home like this?
This might be an investor. I would want to say an investor or someone as a vacationer. You know, we're less than half a mile from the Gulf, so I think that's
But you don't
really,
think first-time home buyers is a good house for them? Or
so,
you're waiting for the big surprise to show them what's
So I think this might be ideal for the right family. It can be a family, but they tend to look at school zones and things like that. This might work out. I think if it's a family of 3 or 4, they would be happy.
Yeah.
And that's because of that surprise.
Yeah, but I mean, they're fixing them all up. You know, a lot of these, I'm noticing a lot of these new houses, got new roofs, painted, nicer windows. This is the actual house that we're going to tour today. So let's talk about this house, Wayne. Tell me about it. Square footage. This is a $300,000 house.
This is
Let me
it's
get away from
currently-
our vehicles.
It's currently $310,000 that they're asking.
Okay.
And can you see that? Look at that bird just flying up here. So you're definitely closer to nature. You'll see a lot of that. We've got a park and trails, and we've got a beautiful walking area over here. So if you listen, it's absolutely quiet around here. We've got a home that's asking $310,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and just under 1,200 square feet. And there's a big surprise at the end. Really, you just don't get that at this price point anymore. Not here, so it's rare. That being
I
said,
mean, is this house a type of house hard to find? This condition?
It is. Right now, if we just looked at a couple of the comps, none of them have that bonus that we're talking about in the back, and that's a key thing. You've got the 1-car garage. A lot of these homes end up converting that space. This is usable, so you're seeing a lot of trade-offs in this area because everyone wants to maximize the square footage, And
So people are giving up their garage space to convert it.
and quite honestly, if you're in an HOA area, you can't do that. But a non-HOA community like this, you can park out on the sidewalk. You can park here. As you can tell, if you've got a boat, you can have it out. In HOA communities, you don't. And some of the other homes that we looked at, I think all of them were in HOA communities, whether it's a small or significant
So
amount.
basically, going from a $400,000 house to a $300,000 house, you're saying that you're going to have more freedoms to do what you want.
The HOA cuffs don't come with those.
They don't come with it. But
Right.
we still got to talk about it. People are like, oh, $300,000 house, that's affordable. We have to talk numbers, okay? So once we go inside
Yes.
and give the reveal, and let's talk about numbers.
Sounds good. All right, Jimmy, welcome in.
Oh, wow, this is this a flip? This looks like it's, this is the first time I'm seeing it. Is this like a redo, like they refurbished it?
It's a remodel, yeah. They've done a lot of things. You notice with the floors, you notice the brand new windows, countertop, kitchen, backsplash.
Yeah, we're gonna
new
show all that.
appliances, everything.
But Wayne, let's talk about, you know, the elephant in the room. Okay, people say it still costs money to get into a house like this.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does it cost? So say this house is, you said 300,000. All right. So say 20% down. What would it be off to?
So let's go through the numbers. Jimmy loves his numbers. So he's a stats guy. So again, we've done this on all the other properties, and we're keeping it consistent. You're putting 20% down. So 20% is 60,000. And that brings the mortgage to roughly around $1,500. And that's just the mortgage payment. So now
we have taxes and insurance.
We have taxes over here, so taxes are going to be around the same. We're still around
3,500.
Yep, we're still going to stick to that 3,000 mark on this one, but there's no HOA. That's what we accounted for in the other homes, plus insurance. Insurance is going to be the big real elephant in the room because this is in a flood zone, so there's going to be a partial that you're going to have to
well,
cover
like
for
in
that.
Florida in particular, like if you're in a flood zone and you have a mortgage, they're going to require you to get flood insurance. So it's going to be a separate policy for flood.
Yes.
So now you have, say, homeowners insurance, say $3,500 a year. Let's just say that, or $250 a month, whatever you want to call it. And then let's say you have flood. So at the end of the day, and we're not even talking about closing costs, reserves, any repairs on a $300,000 house, because usually we find repairs.
Yep.
This is like a needle in a haystack kind of. I inspect homes all the time, so you actually picked a home that, you know, has been remodeled pretty nice. But you're still looking at $2,500 a month.
Correct. Yes, all in, you're about $2,200 to $2,350 that you're looking at to have your mortgage, your taxes, insurance, and then the addition of that flood
Yeah,
policy.
then you're talking about water, electricity,
Yep,
you know,
your utilities, your cable,
all that,
everything.
cable, everything.
Yep. So again, your budget, and this is why when you sit with your lender, they're looking at that debt ratio and controlling where your price point is going to be. So with that being said, your numbers are, we're looking at all in, let's say around 85,000 to get the home. That's title, closing, and your 20% down.
And you know, there's programs out there, there's FHA, there's VA, you know, you can put 5% down, and you have PMI, mortgage insurance. This is not what this video is about, okay?
Right.
So we're not gonna get into that, but if you get mortgage insurance and you're putting less money down, yeah, you'll save on the 85, but at the same time, your mortgage payment is gonna be higher.
Yeah. So we to simplify this, we kept comparing apples to apples to apples. So we've stuck with the 20% down for that scenario. There's USDA, there's veterans, there's all types of loans and programs and
there's more and more coming out every day.
Yeah, the 40-year.
Which I don't even want to go into it. I think a 40 year, somebody's talking about a 50-year mortgage. It's stupid.
We're going to leave that for another
We're
video.
going to leave that for another. But we're going to do a quick tour on this house. And just keep in mind, this house has been remodeled. So this is a $300,000 house, but it's a fixer-upper. But after Wayne does his thing, I'm going to talk to you about usually what I find in a $300,000 house on the inspection side of it, okay?
And a great point would be your normal, especially in this neighborhood, what you'd find and how this house has addressed that. So this was a hard find for me to get you to come to.
Oh, it is, and you know, as soon as I walked in, there's one thing I noticed right away between the $300,000 and $400,000. So I want you to talk about that too. Yes, yes, that's exactly it. So let's do a quick tour, okay? Again, this is a tour to not sell this particular house, but give you guys an idea of what $300,000 for a used house gets you, what kind of neighborhood, what kind of house you get.
Right.
Let's get started on that.
But this house is currently available.
It is. The phone number is below.
We're here. Here's the living room, and here's your hallway, Jimmy. So it's got a beautiful living space. I do want you to take a look at this. This is great. You've got this island here, cabinet space, and it's all new. So soft close. I mean, this was really, really hard to find. Brand new appliances. I mean, tons of space, KitchenAid.
But Wayne, I gotta ask you a question.
Yes.
Okay, people are gonna say to me on the comments, because you know, I'm doing this for a long time. They're gonna say, hey, you know what? Yeah, that house is 300,000, it's remodeled, but it's okay. Just every house you show me, I want a remodeled house. Realistically, you're not gonna find this.
Realistically, this is a gem. Yeah, this is a harder find, and you're looking, and this is what we've done with the other homes. We've already explained that when you go in, you're looking at certain expenses. So 400 to 500, how much are you expecting? One, with the space from your neighbor, to the community, your approachability. What's your curb appeal? What does the area look like? Cracks on the ground, and how much you're putting in after you purchase the house.
Well, like this one, okay? This is at least a $20,000 kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So on a regular $300,000 house, if you want this kitchen,
you're adding that.
You're adding 20 grand.
I mean, there's tons here. The windows, the floors, new doors here. You've got new cabinetry. You've got countertops, backsplash, which I usually, again, this is a gem. It's hard to find backsplash done in the lower price point homes. Those are finishing touches that most people expect at a higher price point, but don't really get at the lower price point. So that being said, there's thoughtful things that are done. There's this beautiful cutout here, and brand new sink, brand new dishwasher. There's a lot. You've got
they got new floors and everything, but the bedrooms aren't as big as they were on the newer homes. Like this master bath, it's done up nice.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, but this is not.
And you see the sink. It's the smaller size, but it's thoughtful designs. Okay, you've got closets. Are you talking about walk-in closets? Technically, I just walked in. So yes, it's walk-in closets. We have a bigger room here. Let me show you the other two bedrooms.
You know what's funny? This thing has a pocket door.
Pocket door.
That wasn't normal back then.
Yeah, this was a great addition. When you think about it, they're utilizing the most of the space. The garage we'll get to, but I really like that space in there. So let's take you to the two other bedrooms. Again, we're gonna talk about the sizing. We're talking about you're not gonna be able to fit king-size beds in here. You can get a queen, but how much space are you gonna have? The closet is for your clothes, and that's about it. You're probably gonna have, a little furniture unit. And again, see, these are type of things that you really wouldn't run into at those higher ceiling homes. You got a teenager or something, they're gonna be tall as me.
So they're usually 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yes.
So this is next bedroom.
Yep. This is the other bedroom.
Small.
So this is the third and last bedroom. Mirrors the same thing as far as the square footage, I think. And then the bathroom, again, it's a newer bathroom. I'm gonna let you go in because I don't think both of us should be.
So here's the deal with this one, okay? Like you guys can see, okay, so you guys call us, say, hey, I want a house for 300,000. My mortgage payment's gonna be about 2,500 bucks.
Yep.
Okay, but realistically, a house like this is a little bit harder to find. Let's be realistic about it. That's what the channel's all about.
It is.
So if you find a house, let's say you get it for 275, okay?
Right.
To bring it up to
Fair.
this standard, add 75,000.
Yeah. And then it
Unless you're
doesn't
really handy yourself.
And then it doesn't have the bonus that you wouldn't get that. So with this unit, you'll notice most of the other homes that we've looked at, the washer and dryer, they're going to be inside the house because you have square footage, you have enough space. Here, it's going to be inside the garage.
Right.
And that's what you're going to find very commonly over here. And it's not a big deal. It's just you want to maximize your living space. So washer and dryer is going to go there. You've got a new water tank. You've got a good AC unit right behind you. Your garage is functional, works. You've got enough space here.
That's the air handler. That's
Yep.
the attic space up there.
Right.
And I'm going to go over all that stuff with the inspection. I'm going to do a quick one, but let's show them the surprise.
All right. So before we leave here, I want to talk about this. So I glaze over this, and you would too, because we are in the other homes, we're used to seeing this already sheetrocked and insulated and all that stuff, and you can see straight outside. And this is just the garage space. So there may be some inefficiencies when it comes to cooling and stuff like that that you just won't see in the other price point
Well, yeah,
homes.
because standards have changed, and I'll go over all that stuff.
Yep, that's for you. Now, let's take a walk and really show them what you absolutely won't get at this price point. Again, most likely. So, you've got a screened-in lanai with a pool. This is a big deal. So, again, let's go back to your number. Let's say I were to find one of these other homes in this neighborhood, same neighborhood. It's going to be $275. You know what it's going to cost to put a pool in? We're way past that 310 price point, that 300,000 that you're looking for. We've gone past that, and you're going to have. It depends on your line too, your lot line, how much space you're going to have to fit a pool in. Now, this already has it, and it's in great condition. The layout here is really nice. The way it's designed, the water runs off, runs away from the pool. So all in all, the screening is great. It's clean. It's not damaged or anything. I'm really liking this. So not a lot to dislike for the price point. This is a diamond in the rough.
All right, Wayne, let's do the inspection side of this video.
Okay.
All right, the first thing you're going to notice with these houses, even though they're older, they're some from the 60s, 70s, pretty much, you know, they're block in wood, okay? So this over here, you see it's flush right here, the window with this, and I can feel it. This is wood, okay? This was added on. This wasn't originally to the home. So we have to take a look at that and see how they did it when they added it on. This is common that this happens. This over here is block. If you ever want to know how a home is block, you see how you see the gap, you see how it's inserted? It's because it's block. Block is thicker than wood, okay? These windows, usually on these sides, these types of homes, are older and they need replacing. And that, I mean, Florida has my Safe Florida program. There's programs that can help you. I think last time I looked, you guys have to look it up, you know, verify this information, but I think for every dollar you spent, if you're in the right zone, they'll give you two.
Yeah, it goes about $10,000
Yeah,
that they can qualify.
But usually when I'm doing an inspection on this, I'm saying, hey, you know what? Replace the windows. All right, but they painted it, everything. I love block homes. I'm not a big fan of wood. So you're going to notice, like this has a pool. We won't even talk about that. But you notice that the line between the houses is not much better than the new construction ones. because it's like, this is like a zero lot line, okay? But on a lot of $400,000, $500,000 houses that we show, you have a much bigger space. Like my house, I have a lot of privacy because I have a big lot. You know, over here, you have to get used to it. So if your neighbor has a dog, you're going to hear the dog and everything. But, you know, so a lot of times I say, you know what, you need gutters. A lot of this fascia, a lot of times, is rotten.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
very
that's
common.
really,
I see
really
that all
common.
the time. Yeah.
I'm not talking about the pool that much because it's not common. Wayne, let's go in the garage.
Sounds good.
Okay, Wayne. So a lot of times when I'm inspecting these houses, okay, in the garage, it smells damp. It really does. Okay. Usually to get up to the attic, it's just open. Okay. These houses, like this house over here, was retrofit. There's clips up here to get hurricane credits, but usually those clips aren't there. They're toenailed, okay? You have to look at that stuff because that stuff helps you with insurance. A lot of times in these older houses, these panels are like Zinsco, Sylvania, you know, they're older panels.
And uninsurable.
Yeah, so they need to be replaced. So you're talking about 2,000, 2,500 sometimes. And sometimes like this one's 125 amps. But I've seen some houses that they added on and they're 100 amp panels, and they're trying to put a jacuzzi in there. It's not going to work out. Okay, the garage doors a lot of times on these $300,000 houses aren't the curved ones with the cross beams for wind pressure, like this one. It's not. Okay, the air conditioners, like the air handlers, are always usually up. They're either in the attic or they're in the garage sitting like this. And I'm not a fan of an air handler being all the way up in the attic.
Because it's so hard to inspect. It's one of those unknowns. So even as a realtor, when we go in, we know about these check boxes. So we check the electrical panel. We look at the hot water heater. This is the basic. I know you did a video how you can tell in 15 seconds or so, you know, look up work to property. Same thing with realtors. When we come in, we're looking at certain things. And these are the things that we're like, oh gosh, is this going to be a nightmare for this buyer?
Right, and the whole thing too, like this water heater, 50 gallons, okay? This is usually a 30-gallon water heater up on a shelf.
Right.
Okay, so you run out of water a lot further.
For a medium-sized family.
Yeah, and by the time you put a few things in a garage in this price point house, and you have a washer and dryer right here, because this is the hookup and everything, you don't have room for a car. If you really think about it, this is not a big space.
Right.
But what I like about $300,000 houses in neighborhoods, I already know what the neighborhood's going to look like. It's not like it's a brand new construction neighborhood, and I can't fast forward 30 years to see what the neighborhood's going to look like, what the tree growth is going to look like, what the neighborhood is.
It's matured, it's settled.
Right, and I already know the land, if the property is, like I always said on all my videos, the biggest problem with houses is water. I've always said you have to have the right proper drainage. So when there's a hurricane and when there's a storm, you have to think about the worst case scenario when it comes to a house, okay? Is the water going to drain away from the house? Like this house is a little bit on a hill, so I know if there's a hurricane, there shouldn't, even though this isn't a flood zone, technically, unless it's a bad hurricane, there shouldn't be water in here.
Right.
But then, if say water comes in here 2 inches, you still have a few inches here. Believe it or not, that makes a difference.
Huge difference. Yeah.
Okay, I've seen garages that are flush with inside the house. I did, and then also the other problem with houses in this price range and this age is the sewer lines. I always tell everybody, get a sewer scope. That's when we stick a camera down because, believe it or not, the sewer lines going to the bathroom could be coming right through here. Look at this beautiful kitchen. So if there's a problem with the sewer lines, they might have to jackhammer right here to go get the repair done.
Right.
You know, so there's other things you really have to consider. And when you're hiring an inspector to inspect a house from the 50s, 60s, 70s, make sure that they do sewer scopes and make sure that they're used to the houses, okay? Like I always said, real estate agents are good in certain areas and bad in others. Home inspectors are the same way. If they're not used to inspecting a certain type of house, okay, they're not the right one. Say, hey, are you used to inspecting? Like I did an inspection on a 120-year-old house the other day, okay? So at the beginning, when I started doing those years ago, I had somebody, old timer that was in the industry before he got digital and everything, and he showed me what to look for. And I got trained. And then eventually I got good enough that I could do those older houses. But somebody just coming out of school to be a home inspector can't just jump into one of those houses and say, oh yeah, it's fine, or it's not. This is totally different. You have cloth wiring, you have knob and tube, you have a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying about this house is, yes, the price point might be good, but you have to think about, at the end of the day, what is it going to cost me after I move in? How is this house going to treat me 10 years from now? How is this house going to treat me when there's a storm? How is this house going to treat me if I have another kid? Okay?
Right.
So just think about all that stuff. But anyways, I'm not going to keep going on the inspection side, but what I'm trying to get across is there's a lot of things to consider for any price point house.
And that's why we always want to give you the real truth about the numbers, the breakdown, what you're looking to get into. And we want to make sure that the buyer isn't going to be in a bad situation
Absolutely.
year, 2 years.
But what we're going to do is we're going to head now, okay, to a house that's $300,000.
That's the price point.
Okay, it's the price point, and you'd be like, which one should I buy? And we're going to take you to the other house, and you say, well, it's a no-brainer. I'm going to buy this one over here, the new one. But there's pros and cons too, so stay tuned for that. And remember, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. It's really motivational. And watch this video right here. I picked it out just for you guys, and it'll probably be the $400,000 house one or the $500,000 house one. Thank you, and we'll talk to you soon.